I, 24 male, live with my girlfriend of 10 years now. We both graduated and got our first house together. It's been great. I'm not close to my dad. We ended up with bad blood between us in my teens because when he remarried after the death of my mom, his wife wanted all traces of my mom removed from the living spaces of the home to make it feel like her home, and they were not willing to compromise and keep some up for me. My dad told me I could make those decisions when I paid the bills. Since I was a kid, that wasn't possible. So all my mom's photos, keepsakes, and anything she ever added to the house were taken down and stored in my room because I said Dad didn't get to keep it if he didn't think enough of my mom to keep even one thing of hers up. My girlfriend and I have a lot of childhood and family photos in our place. I kept all of mine safe at my aunt's house until I had a place of my own. My girlfriend's family is big on taking photos, so she has a lot of them too. We also have photos of us from our 10 years together. During the housewarming, my dad's wife noticed that she wasn't in any of the photos around the house, and nothing she had ever given me was there. She took offense, and Dad took offense on her behalf. He confronted me on the lack of signs that I had a stepmom. I shrugged him off and told him to focus on the party. He didn't like that, so a few days later he came back over and told me I should show some signs of his wife being a part of the family, and having one photo of her wouldn't kill me. I told him he could make decisions about my home when he paid the bills for my home. He went red in the face and told me that was so different. I told him it was no different. I said his home was supposed to be my home back then, but he needed to take the concept of making his wife comfortable to the extreme and showed me how little he thought of Mom or me in the process. He accused me of acting 4 instead of 24, and then he told me I was petty for throwing his words back in his face like that. He stormed off and a few more days went by, and then he started sending me these random texts that were essentially just him repeating that I behaved like a child, and throwing those words back at him didn't help me make a valid point. He told me I hurt his wife out of spite, and I threw his words back at him out of spite, and it's time for me to grow up. Am I the idiot for throwing his words back into his face? Not the idiot. He had a complete lack of respect for his own son's grieving process to accommodate his wife. He chose to favor his wife. Stepmother also sounds wild, just to neglect the fact there's a child who lost his mother. She sounds very self-centered. I can understand maybe not having a shrine, but leaving a few pictures up doesn't feel like erasing or replacing entirely, and it doesn't hurt her in any way. I'm sorry, OP. He's not arguing with the kid now, is he? You're an adult homemaker, making adult decisions, so his argument is garbage. Tell him an adult homemaker making adult decisions isn't some kid living under his rules. Your dad and your stepmom are particularly childish and awful people. You had a chance to throw that back in his face. Remind him that calling you childish means he finally realizes how childish his behavior was. He's throwing a tantrum because he hates being on the serve side of what he previously dished out. He's right about it being different, though. It was much worse when he did it to you. He arbitrarily controlled a place that you also lived in. Now he's trying to control a place he doesn't live in and has no business even commenting on the decoration. Unlike you, he has a choice about whether or not to be in your home. You also have a choice on whether or not he visits you going forward. You know what? Just to make him angry even further, send him bills and tell him for every bill you pay, you get one picture with your wife displayed in my house. On another note, I'm sorry you went through the loss of your mother and didn't have a supportive father. My parents have been divorced since I, teen male, was a baby. The divorce was pretty high conflict, and they've never been the kind of people who stayed in each other's lives outside of me. I've been repeatedly told there was no cheating, but my mom has admitted to me in recent years that she didn't like how my dad treated her at the end of their marriage, but she said that she didn't mean that it needed to come between me and him. It just meant she would never be able to be friends with him or form a makeshift wider family with all of us. My dad got married for the second time when I was 5. He and his wife have had an awkward relationship. They're sort of open, but in the past, were also kind of on and off. So they've had kids with other people and each other for the last 11 years. The dynamic has meant that they don't have a lot. Of all of us, I'm the most financially secure because Mom is always taking good care of me, and she can afford things my dad can't. We've vacationed every year except for 2020 and 2021. Sometimes we even go twice a year. I've been all over the world with my mom. Dad could never afford a vacation. I also get new clothes whenever I need or want something new, while they have to share a lot of hand-me-downs and thrift store buys. I also get more gifts at Christmas every year and better gifts. They mostly get practical stuff, while I get fun stuff. When I turned mid-teen, my mom bought me a nice but secondhand car. None of the others are that age, yet my dad and his wife won't be able to afford it. Same with vacations. My mom has always asked me where I'd like to go. Normally my first choice has won out, but only sometimes. But I always go to fun places. This is something Dad pointed out a lot in the last couple of years. He said it was all stuff many kids would like. And I was like, yeah, because Mom gives me input in the decisions of where. Dad was like, so you request these places? And I'm like, yeah. Mom and I got back from vacation last week, and when I went to my dad's, he was angry. He said I was selfish and cruel to request these vacations when I knew the other kids would love to go to all these places, and he accused me of intentionally choosing places that they'd never be able to go, just to be an idiot to them. I said no, but I won't lie about where I want to go to spare their feelings. He said I should, that I should love and care about them enough not to let them miss out like that. I told him it wasn't my problem. Am I the idiot? Edit. My dad has 5 bio kids that we know of that include me. His wife had 2 when they first met. She had 2 with him and like 3 or 4 others. Wait, so she has 7 to 8 kids and he has 4 besides you? Yeah, they ain't going on vacation anytime soon, especially not on your mom's dime. OP, not the idiot. Enjoy the places you want to go. Building memories with your mom is an amazing opportunity that you should cherish. I hope you guys continue doing fun things together. Dad can learn to deal with it. Ugh, haven't they heard of birth control? Poor finances are an excellent reason to limit the number of children that you bring into the world. That's his own problem. If he has that many different kids from within his marriage and outside of it, he should have been better prepared to be able to pay for them. It's not your responsibility to actively do something about his inability to do fun things with his kids or to put off your ability to do things that you want. I'm not sure how old your siblings are or what your relationship with them is like, but at the end of the day, it's your mother footing the bill, not your dad. Honestly, OP's dad sounds quite petty and jealous of what the mom provides for their son. He's trying to badger his son into either not talking about those places because his brood notices he can't provide the same, or not going to them so he can be just as miserable as the rest of their children because dad seems to have very little self-control. I, female 24, started dating my boyfriend, 31, in February. He has a child from a previous relationship, and at first, I was reluctant to be in a relationship with him, not because of the kid, but because I've heard so many horror stories of baby mama drama, which I didn't want in my life. We started dating when he assured me that he and his baby's mom were just co-parenting, and he even showed me all their messages, which were about their son. Anyway, his family invited me to Thanksgiving, and this would be the first time I spent a holiday with them since I usually see my family. I decided to go to his family's house for maybe an hour or 2 and then go to my parents' house. We got there a bit late, but when we arrived, I noticed that his baby's mom was there. I honestly didn't expect it because he made it seem like they weren't close, except for them having a child together. I was, of course, friendly, met all his family, and even had a conversation with his baby mom. I realized how close his baby's mom is with his family, and I realized I didn't want to be a part of that, especially when his sister started making jokes about how his baby's mom came first, etc. I left earlier than agreed and called an Uber to my parents' house. My boyfriend called several times, but I sort of ignored it because I needed to think. After talking with my mom, I realized I didn't want to date my boyfriend anymore. I ended up calling him when I was going home and asked him if his baby's mom was at every family holiday. He told me that she was, since his mom loved her. I then asked if he didn't mind having some holidays with just us or just my family, so not every holiday is with his baby's mom. Of course, their son would be invited. He explained he didn't like my alternatives, so I told him that our relationship wouldn't work and that I should have listened to my instincts in February. I ended up apologizing and hung up before he could say anything. Since then, I've been getting several calls from him, and he even came to my house asking me to talk. I've also been getting messages from random numbers about the situation. Maybe his friends, I don't know, calling me a jerk for not talking the problem out and calling me immature. What is there to talk about? I made my decision. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. I'm all for a healthy co-parenting relationship and even a dynamic where parents share the holidays together. But this crossed a line of disrespect that would be hard for any of his future relationships to survive. His family can like her all they want and even invite her to holidays, but there should be a level of respect for his current relationship. The sister should have never stated that baby's mom comes first, and your boyfriend should have shot that down immediately. He was probably in an awkward situation, and it sounds like he may want to work on that, but with the harassing phone calls you're now getting, it sounds like you made the right choice. Yeah, sister saying baby's mom comes first and boyfriend not defending her is a massive red flag. And how was she the one accused of not talking things out? She did, and her boyfriend shot it down. She asked for a compromise. Her boyfriend said no. She did communicate. People just don't like that she has a brain and can see the writing on the wall. I love your shiny backbone. You're so smart to get out of there. You will always come last in that relationship. After baby's mom, after sisters, and mother-in-law. He wants you just to cookie cut into his life on his terms. That's why he's dating a 24-year-old when he's 31. He hoped you didn't have the life experience to realize you were getting shafted. My son is not responsible and got a girl, Amanda, nearly adult, pregnant. My son wanted nothing to do with my grandbaby Sammy, a young toddler. I was able to get a lawyer to help me with my grandparents' rights, but the visitation must come with a monitor chosen by the mom and her family. Also, I found out that Amanda's uncle is her lawyer, so it's like they have unlimited money. I'm on disability, paying in installments for my lawyer, who doesn't even bother with me if I haven't paid. I was granted 2 hours a week to see Sammy in a public place. I was so happy, but the monitor the family picked out was $200 an hour and didn't take discounts for use on disability. So it's $400 a week to see Sammy. All the dreams I had of visiting my first grandbaby came crashing down. I'm only allowed to text the family through an approved channel, not personally, so everything is monitored. I tried saying it's too expensive and I would like another monitor, and I was told no, it's in the court documents. There are no family court dates until February, and I don't have the money to even pay for a lawyer to go to the next one. I'm missing out on Sammy's birthday, Thanksgiving, Christmas, because they expect me to pay them to see him. They're taking their anger on my son out on me and making me pay. I got mad and cussed the family out on the texting channel when I realized that I'd missed those important dates because I didn't even have $400 for one visit a month. The lawyer shut me down, saying he'll see me in court, and called me unstable. I'm so hurt and just want to hold and visit Sammy, but everyone's being mean. My family says it's so unfair that they can exclude me like this. My son already signed away his rights, and he's no longer on a birth certificate, so he can't even help me. I'm so depressed because I just want to see and hold Sammy. You are the idiot. Your son abandoned his child, and the family doesn't want you involved. While it sucks that you're missing out, be angry at your son, not the mother trying to protect her child. You're a stranger. You should be grateful for the fact that you were granted any rights. However, there's a reason for concern that the judge considered, seeing as you've supervised visits. Cussing them out is a terrible idea, and you likely just lost all chances to see him. You could be the best parent in the world and still end up with a crappy kid. And you could be a crappy parent and end up with the best kid. With that said, OP was the idiot for going off the handle, but it's clear that the child's family are also idiots, knowing she's too poor to pay to see the grandchild. Everyone's the idiot here. The only person who loses in this is the child, who someday will want to know the paternal side. Info. What was the reason the court ordered only professionally monitored visitation? Typically, this is ordered when there's some threat to the safety of the child or the family members. How old was OP's son when he got Amanda pregnant? I think he might be serving some time for statutory as well. That's my theory too, especially since she says that the grandchild is a young toddler and the baby's mother, Amanda, is only nearly an adult. So she gave birth a year ago, and given the length of pregnancy and the additional months that one could add to a baby's age, Amanda could have easily been 15 when this all started. Lady, you sound very entitled. You're not owed access to the baby. I'm surprised you were given anything, considering your son chose to sign his rights away. He bailed on his child and gave the mother sole custody. She gets to decide what's best for her child, and lashing out at this family and cussing them out is never going to get you what you want. You should be angry at your son, not them. Perhaps your money would be better utilized in getting therapy to deal with your anger and grief and not getting to have a relationship with this baby. My parents divorced when I, 18 male, was 12 because my dad cheated and his mistress was 8 months pregnant. I was 12 when my half-sister was born. I hated the fact she existed, and I knew I would never want to take on a loving or involved big brother role in her life. The courts ruled that my parents should share equal custody of me, which only changed to being able to live with my mom when I was 16. The judge said that made me old enough to finally have a say. But last year, I had to stay at my dad's for a few months because my mom ended up in the hospital, and a social worker said returning to my dad made the most sense. It was in those few months, especially when my half-sister took an interest in me and wanted to follow me around and spend time with me. She got used to having me there, but once Mom was home, I moved back to her house and stopped going to my dad's again. My dad, his wife, and my dad's parents all say my half-sister misses me and that I need to stay a part of her life and make an effort to bond with her. But I've been clear that that's not what I'll do. My dad and his wife showed up at my mom's house the other day and told me my half-sister wrote in her letter to Santa that she wanted me to be there for Christmas and her birthday. I made it clear I would never be showing up for those again, and I wouldn't be a part of her life or their lives. They said I could at least make small appearances for her sake, and I said it would not happen, and they better figure out how to help her through that. They told me I was cruel in taking their actions out on her, when all she wanted was for her brother to love her. I told them I don't return that love or affection, and I'm not changing my mind. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot, since you're old enough to decide what to do. However, I would say you are projecting the resentment you have for your father for cheating on your half-sister. That's not fair. She's blameless, so have a softer spot for her and blame who's actually to blame. That doesn't mean you need a relationship with her or are obligated to do it, but maybe think about it again without the baggage. That child is a physical reminder of how OP's dad's cheating broke up the family. The kid may be innocent, but her existence is the reason OP doesn't live with both parents. Flip their script back at them. Sure, your half-sister's just a kid and is not responsible for the circumstances, but you were just a kid when your father ripped your family apart by cheating on your mom. He and his now wife weren't too concerned about your feelings back then. They don't get to ask you to do anything for the sake of family now.